righty. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining in with us today on our podcast for May. This month, we will be discussing National Foster Care Awareness. As you guys know, I'm Kayla St. Eliard, and I'm with the Agency for Substance Abuse Prevention, and today we have Miss Mackenzie Vaughn joining us today. Hello, Mackenzie, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for joining us. I'm very excited about this. I have been looking forward to this one in particular for a while because I knew we were going to have a really special guest with us today that not only had a lot of information, but just is an overall good person. So I'm very excited to have you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So just go ahead and start off with some basic questions. So how long have you been a foster mother?
Overall, 3 years. And we took the classes. So if you count taking classes and everything, it's been closer to like 4.5. And kind of on and off. We paused for a little bit when we had our biological baby. But 3 years we've had a child in our home that was a bonus baby.
Oh, that's so exciting. And I love it because I have actually gotten the chance to be around you and see the joy that these children have not only brought to you, but you have been such an impact in their lives as well. And I just want to just let everyone know, like, you are a remarkable foster mother. I've seen you in action, and you, when I tell you, you're like super mom, you handle everything so well. Like having 2 babies under 2, extraordinary. Yes. My hat's off to you.
Thank you. It is exciting. And you said it is a double-sided thing. It is an opportunity for us just to give a home and love to babies that need it, but also they add so much to our lives. So it's a rewarding thing we get to do.
That's awesome. And I'm pretty sure that they feel the same way when they grow up. They're going to look back and be like, wow, our mom is just amazing for all the sacrifices that she's made for us. So that's awesome. I'm very proud of you. So what was your motivation to become a foster mother? Like what made you want to be like, okay, I want to change the lives of these children?
So first of all, I've just grown up. My parents have kind of done that. They were foster parents for a few years and then also house parents at Big Oak Boys Ranch. And then also they just take people in. I've seen them just be a home for, I mean, this sounds kind of sketchy, but just for people off the street, their house has always been open. And so that was just the example that I've grown up with. And then growing up, getting married, thankfully, I was blessed with a husband who had the same heart. And we prayed about it and decided that's what we wanted to do because there's such a need for it. And then we didn't know at the time, and we decided that we were going to have a hard time having our own kids. So it's just kind of, it wasn't a solution, but just something that we could fill a need for, and then also just kind of satisfy that desire to be parents at the same time. And then thankfully we were blessed with our baby Joe. But yeah, just growing up with the example and then seeing the need and then just desiring to be parents. That's our motivation, and it keeps us going.
That's really awesome. And just want to let you know your parents are awesome too. I do know them, and just seeing how well they're literally like parents to everyone. Like I see them kind of like as my parents, even though they didn't like birth me. I'm just like, that's mama and papa right there. Like I love them. So awesome. So how many children have you been able to foster in your time?
So in the 3 years, we've had 3 different babies in our home for various amounts of time. Our first one was only for 50 days, which sounds like a short amount of time, but the heartstrings are pulled when he went home after just 50 days. And then our second one, 7 months. And then we still have our third one. She's been with us now for almost 9 months. So
awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And I know it's hard, like, to see these children and you're practically like raising them, and then all of a sudden that they have to go. I know that's a struggle. And but I know DHR does, focus on the reunification process and how important that is. But I just really feel for you because I'm just like, I couldn't imagine. That's what I'm saying. You're so strong because it would really do something to like my psyche. Like I'd be like,
Yeah,
that's my baby. Like, where are you going? Like,
it is so hard, but when you you just have to take yourself out of it and say, look, these are their parents and they did everything they were supposed to do, and they deserve to be their parents if they fought for them. Sure, they messed up, but they did all the steps to get their babies back. And so it was a celebration at the same time. Sad for us, but also exciting for the family. So it
yeah.
is hard, but it's good.
And I know it's a blessing for them to be able to, get themselves together, because I know that's a struggle here with what I do. We see a lot of people just struggle with that substance use disorder, and things like that, or struggle with whatever that they're going through. And I do know people personally that have lost their children.
Mm,
And it's not that they didn't love their children, didn't care.
right.
These battles were just bigger than them, and they
Yeah.
honestly just couldn't handle it. And I just want to throw out some information, because what I've learned just from studying about this, is that nearly 6% of pregnant women use while they're, use illicit drugs. And that, if the doctor, while you're pregnant, has any inclination that you are using, you are drug tested, and then CPS becomes involved, and that's very unfortunate. And I do know for sure that I was actually talking to a lady a couple months ago, and she was saying, like, if you're pregnant and you have a problem, the best thing to do is to seek help also while you're pregnant, because
Yeah.
there are resources out there. And I didn't even know this myself. There are so many resources out there, for women to be able to come in. And even though CPS is still going to get involved, it's not going to be so extreme, because they're going to see that, okay, you're trying to get help, you're trying to clean up your life, you're trying to do better for yourself. And I think that's what people need to realize, is you just need to address when you have a problem.
Right.
You need to recognize that and seek help. And it's here we're trying to get rid of that, because I know there's a big stigma around substance use, and people don't want to recognize that because they're scared of the judgment. They have
Mhm.
the fear that people are going to be like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe they're doing that. And they
Right.
also have a fear of just losing everything,
Mhm.
which can happen, but you just have to go and seek help and want the help for it.
Right.
And I also learned too that, which is something that I kind of didn't know. Let me pull up my little fact sheet real quick. Is an estimated more than 8 million children younger than the age of 18 live with at least one adult that has a substance use disorder.
Wow.
And that is a rate of more than 1 in 10 children. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
And it's scary, and it's scary not only for the children but for the parents as
Mhm.
well. And it's the effects of substance use disorder. It affects the whole family.
It does.
No one really goes untouched. It affects them, it affects all their loved ones, and it affects the people, such as yourself that, take in these children and
Mhm.
try and, get, be there for them while they do, lack that biological, I guess you could say, parental figure.
Yes.
So that's why I ever since I learned more about it, and I didn't know much until I actually met y'all. And that has really opened my eyes, and it's made me want to become more informed. And
Mhm.
that's why I tell everyone, like, if you can, try. I mean, if you have the resources, if you have the heart for it, try and do it, because there's so many kids that are in need of that love, and that protection, that
Mhm.
you offer. And then the parents also need, that help and stuff as well.
Yes.
So how often do you foster children that have parents that maybe struggle with substance misuse?
So far we are 3 for 3. All three of our bonus babies' parents struggled, either one parent or both. I think in I actually think all three of ours, both parents struggled. And
Mm.
it's sad, it's hard. Something that we didn't really consider when becoming foster parents. We were young and we just kind of had the children in mind, which is definitely part of it. But we never considered that we might have to work closely with biological parents. And with our first one, that wasn't really a thing. But with our second, it was kind of in our face. We couldn't ignore it. And we were scared, to be honest. We didn't know, because there is that stigma of what we were going to have to deal with. Like, we just didn't know. But thankfully, the Lord gave us strength and grace, and we got to know them. And they're precious. They're people. Everyone is human. Everyone has their own vices and ways that they cope with things. And that's the story with our second baby. We'll call him baby C. With his parents, they just were struggling and they needed help. They didn't have family close, and so they just needed that support to get out of that. And I'm grateful that we had the opportunity to meet them and work with them, because it did change our lives as much, or if not more, than it changed theirs.
Yeah.
So
And you'll forever, they'll never forget you, because you'll forever leave that imprint,
yeah,
not only on baby C's life, but on their life as well. They're going to look back on that. And I hope that them seeing what your sacrifices that you made will help them continue to be
yes,
on a good path and continue to fight. Because people that struggle with substance use disorder, it's an everyday fight. It's
yeah,
something you're going to fight with literally for the rest of your life. Even if you've been clean for 20 plus years, it's still a daily fight. And
yeah.
I'm just really proud of you. I just want to just put that out there again, because you're really awesome. You're truly an inspiration. Um, so question, when children are taken from their parents due to substance misuse, how long does it usually take them, to get the children back? And if they are not able to get them back, what are the next possible steps?
So it's very dependent on first, like, your history. So if it's not your first offense, it usually is going to take longer. But if it is your first offense, like with baby C, from start to finish, it was 7 months, which is a long time for you to be away from your child long term, but it's 7 months. So if you buckle down, do the work, um, finish the program, do all the things, it is possible. And through that 7 months, they had visitation, so they weren't completely disconnected. And then it is very dependent on the foster parents and just the situation, really. But we were comfortable enough for them to have our phone numbers and things like that, so we were able to do phone calls. He wasn't really old enough to really understand that, but it made them feel better and included, and we could send pictures and stuff. And then, I mean, it can take longer. It just depends. There's not like a cut and dry answer to that.
Yeah.
But if you do the work, it is possible, and it can be pretty quick. And then if that's not possible, then typically DHR will search for a blood relative that is willing and able to take the children, or just child, and they'll go through the same process. Not exactly, they don't have to do classes, but home study process, to make sure that it is a safe environment for the children to be in. And then, I say worst case, not worst case, but if there's not blood relative, then foster parents can adopt, or the child can be adopted by an approved family who will love them. So yeah.
That's awesome. And I hope that someone that's watching this will, if they're struggling, that'll encourage them to, get the help and follow all the steps, do what you need to do, so that way you can be an active parent and be there and do what you need to do. I really like that. That's pretty cool. So do you have a story that you would like to tell, maybe to encourage those that are watching this video to foster? Or do you have a story that will encourage parents or pregnant women to seek help, so that way they don't, have CPS involved and have their children taken from them?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about baby C already, and like you mentioned at the very beginning, if you're taking steps, even if you're in active use, taking steps to get help, don't wait till you think you're clean or whatever. Don't wait. Just take the steps to get help. And sure, CPS will probably have to be involved. But if you do that, you're setting yourself up for success. And with baby C, that was the case. Um, he was in foster care, but his parents, from the day that he left their home, were fighting to get him back and fighting to be clean. And like I said, we got to walk beside them and just encourage them, because they can be good parents. You can be a good parent having a history. It doesn't have to define you. And so it was really incredible for us to see just how hard they were fighting for him. And also they were doing things, and I don't know if some people may not know this, because I didn't until we knew they were doing it. There's other programs you can do just electively that aren't like court ordered or required, that it's not really like a bonus point situation. But when the judges or whoever is making decisions sees that you are doing those things, it reflects very highly on you. So I would look into that. There are classes, there are support groups, just counseling, things like that that you can do on your own, that just make you look better. And ultimately it's not about how you look, it's how it is helping you in setting you up to be a good parent, to have a great relationship in a lifetime with your children. And so to me, that's my favorite story for foster parents and for biological parents of kids, because it does work. The system is, sometimes we hear about it being broken, and it is hard because there are unfortunately a lot of kids in the system right now, so it's kind of overrun. But if everyone takes the proper steps and does all the hard work, then can be good for everybody. Because I'm the foster parent who did love that baby for 7 months, and it was hard to see him leave, but it was so rewarding to know that my work was not in vain, that he got to go home to his parents and he's still there. They're still doing great. And so I just think it's a perfect example of parents doing hard work, kid being loved and safe, and then foster parents getting to just reap the benefits of their hard work. So
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that, Mackenzie. And for those who are watching, if there's anyone interested in being a foster parent, what steps can they take?
Yeah, it's definitely a need. And also, just side note, if you're not willing or able to be a foster parent, there are still ways to get involved, to help. You can be like a child's mentor, or just somebody who gives them fun gifts and just encourages them, or loves on the foster family, like bring them a meal, or just send them a letter to let them know that you're thinking about them or something. There are ways, and you can even in the same way, to be a foster parent, contact your local like DHR, and just tell them, hey, either I would like to be a foster parent, and they can get you right in. You'll have to do some classes, and of course do like home study, background check kind of things to do that. And then also, if you just want to say, hey, I would like to help in some way, they can point you in the right direction for that too. And we actually foster through Alabama Baptist Children's Home. So there are like branches all over the state of Alabama. So you can just call the one that's closest to you, and they can get you plugged in the same way.
Awesome. This is great information. And I will definitely look up the number for that, and I will link it at the bottom so that people can have access to that resource and call if they are interested in being a foster parent. Thank you so much, Mackenzie, for being a part of this podcast today. This was so informative. And I really hope that whoever's watching takes this information and uses it and applies it and wants to, give and just learn, so that way they can educate someone else. Because I feel like that's important, to take the knowledge that you have and, give it to someone else, because you never know who may need it. You never know who you're going to run across who may need that information. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful that people are doing this kind of thing because it's something that's near and dear to my heart, but not something that is just overly talked about. So I'm so grateful that people are just making others aware and giving them information. It's good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. And here at the Agency for Substance Abuse Prevention, we want to let everyone know that if you are struggling, if you need help, if you know anyone that does need help, please feel free to give us a call at 256-831-4436 or visit our website at asap.rev.com. And just like Mackenzie said earlier, your past history doesn't have to define you. You are still loved. There are people out there rooting for you. And here at ASAP, we just want to remind you about our Hope campaign. Hold on, pain ends. This isn't going to last forever. Just make sure that you recognize that you need help. And seek that help, and we are going to be there for you. We have tons of resources. We are not treatment, but we are prevention, but we are linked in with so many different resources around Calhoun County, Etowah County, Cleburne County, a lot of counties. We are plugged in. So please just let us know if you need anything. And once again, thank you so much, Mackenzie, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.